This guy was a marketing director for this startup app, and the app itself had nothing to do with anything that was even related. I mean, it was fucking crazy. When I saw the guy making those posts, he was like on TikTok, and I thought, this dude is for sure doing this for clout and to make money. I mean, it was obvious to me. And then when it came out that he was like full of shit, people were surprised, and I thought, you guys didn't see this coming?
I mean, if he ends up being the killer, that would be the wildest marketing campaign of all time. I wanted to ask you about the Ladybird killer because I've been following your interviews on the YouTube channel, and just to set this up, so you've been extensively covering the possible serial killings going on in Austin, Texas, that many are describing as the Ladybird Lake Killer or the Rainy Street Wrangler, and people are disappearing from Rainy Street at an alarming rate and ending up in the lake. You've interviewed people who have found potential victims in the lake and even spoke to NYPD Detective Kevin Gannon about the case, who's investigated a ton of lake bodies and lake murders for over 20 years. And there's also a Facebook group dedicated to the alleged serial killings with over 88,000 people, which I just joined. And the conspiracy theories I'm posting there are fucking insane.
Yeah,
Like
there's a lot in there.
what have you learned about the Ladybird Lake killings since you've started covering it? Like, what the hell is going on with all of that shit?
So, so basically, this started because I saw a post about it or something, and somebody was like, "You should investigate this." So I said, "All right, let's do it." Actually, no. What happened was we were doing the Come and Talk It show it's on Sundays, and it's a lot. It was a live show. The one I was talking about, where we were talking about the homeless stuff way back in the day, and the guy who runs the show, we kept hearing rumors from people on Rainy Street, on 6th Street, about people being drugged and then disappearing and winding up dead in the lake or whatever. And basically, I was like, all right, well, let's look into this. So we titled the show, "Is There a Serial Killer in Austin, Texas?" And then all of a sudden, it blew up, and we kind of just brought that to attention. We didn't really know exactly if there was a killer or not. We were just asking a question, and then the Lady Bird Lake group on Facebook blew up, and people were really interested in it. So we went out and asked some people on Rainy Street what they thought, and we got a bunch of comical drunk answers. But I also did actual investigation. I talked to that detective Kevin Gannon. He's a retired NYPD detective. He's an awesome dude, and basically the conclusion I've come to is that it's still inconclusive. I don't think there's necessarily somebody could say that there is a serial killer in Austin, but there's what is for sure happening, uh, according to like video footage and first person accounts and stuff like that, is that these people are probably being drugged, and there's a drugging issue in Austin. I was drugged at a bar on 6th Street once,
Oh shit.
and yeah, and they're disappearing and winding up in the lake. Whether they're being mugged or killed or what's going on there, I don't know. But they've all pretty much been men, and a lot of them have been white or Hispanic men. And not every one of the deaths is totally related, but there's definitely a series of people that there's been a series of deaths that have been very suspicious and are probably murders.
Yeah, because
Um,
it sounds like just based on the interviews that I've seen with you, and then going through the Facebook group, people drop a lot of articles in the group anytime something pops up in the news feed, and it sounds like people are going missing, and then they're being kept alive for some period of time because their bodies aren't decomposed. Like if someone fell
yeah,
in the
like they're
lake
in
for 2 weeks, the body doesn't have 2 weeks of decomposition. So it's like they're at another location and then they're being dumped into the lake, which is super suspicious. But they're not being logged as criminal cases, which is insane to me. Like that wouldn't.
because it's hard to determine the cause of death when somebody's body is found in water, basically.
Yeah.
And they don't always test for roofies, which would be GHB.
Yeah, which is insane. I feel like that would be the first thing that you would test for if someone winds up in a lake and, the last time they were seen was at a bar or wandering shit blasted down
Right.
6th Street. You'd be like, "All right, well, maybe this person had 25 drinks, but also maybe someone put something in their drink and then snatched them up on the way back to their apartment. So I don't know why they wouldn't be testing for those types of drugs. That's insane to me.
Dude, I when I realized that they don't test for GHB, I thought it was really weird too. I would have thought that would have been one of the number one things, especially given that there's you know, li- in Austin, man, there's a drug culture obviously, but there's also a lot of like sexual assaults and stuff. So you would think that they would be getting tested for stuff like that, but I don't think for whatever reason that's not. I don't know if it's more expensive or if that's a newer issue that's cropping up, but they don't test for all that stuff. So what are you gonna do? You know, they need to change that policy.
What's the prevailing theory among people in Austin that you've spoken to? Do they think it's a serial killer? Is it just, people wandering drunk as fuck, falling in a lake? I could see someone, you know, maybe they're insane, like there's mental problems, they're fucked up, maybe they're homeless, and they just pass out on the side of a lake and roll in. But I can't see, even in my most fucked up states where I've been, like blacking out for an 8 to 10 hour period, I don't see myself just falling into a lake. And I don't know. Maybe it's happening. I'm sure it's a combination of both, but it seems like there's something, uh, at least with the drugging going on, if not a coordinated effort to take people away, kill them, and then dump
Right.
them in the lake.
Well, there was some people that got busted for drugging and robbing people. So it could be something like that where they're drugging and robbing people and then it's going wrong and they're dying. It could also be, somebody that's a serial killer. It could be that as well. But generally speaking, if you take GHB, even if you've had one or two beers, you're toasted, dude. That stuff will black you out instantly. You lose motor function, you lose all control, you lose your memory. There was a guy who his name was Christian Pugh, and he back in 2018, I believe, he went missing for like 3 days. He came to town to see, I think, Tom Segura perform, and he got drunk and was found 3 days later in like the bushes, kind of in a rough condition. And there's a couple theories. One of the theories was that he got drunk on Rainy and then wandered off and fell off the Congress Bridge into the water. And then other theories are that he was drugged and robbed and beaten and thrown in the water, and they thought he was dead.
And he was alive in
It's
the
there's
bushes when they found him. He was,
yeah,
wow.
yeah, yeah. He actually did a podcast about it. I believe it was the Honeydew podcast with Ryan Sickler, and he talked about it. It's behind a paywall, so I didn't actually I didn't watch that footage, but that was there's like I said, there's some theories out there, but nothing conclusive. What the one thing I said that I did just say that I think is pretty factual is that regardless, there's a drugging issue, a culture of drugging in Austin that is a big problem, and I think it's what's leading to these people dying, whether it's um, intentional or not is irrelevant because to drug someone is malevolent at its core.
Mm,
So anybody being drugged, the person doing the drugging is a bad person, no matter what. Drugging someone without their knowledge, you know what I mean?
yeah.
I think that goes without saying.
So if it's in, like in your case when you got drugged and did you end up getting robbed or assaulted that night? Like,
Uh,
did anything happen to you?
so- No, I was just talking fucking crazy, dude. I took a drug test the next morning and I had been drugged with benzodiazepines, which is like probably a Xanax or a
Xanax, yeah.
clonazepam or something like that. But I blacked out completely. And my friend, I had FaceTime my friend, and she said I was talking about going fucking scuba diving or something. Just, I mean, like not making any sense at all. And the people that were with me said that I was just all over the place. Like, you know, yeah, like I said, I'm kind of a wild when I drink, but not like that. Like I was incoherent. I don't remember anything, and I woke up like on the floor at my house the next day, and my truck was in my driveway. So either and somebody said I drove home, and I had only had 2 drinks, literally. But yeah, I was definitely drugged, and I'm just glad I'm not dead, dude, or got like. I mean, imagine that. Imagine getting drugged and then not knowing you're drugged and driving and getting a DUI. Like, that, I mean, that's so fucked up. You know,
Yeah, you think you're
it's
having 2 drinks and all of a sudden it hits you in your car and you just fucking, like, you can't even keep your neck straight. I'm just trying to think
right,
of what the motivation would be for the person that
dude.
drugged you, 'cause I could obviously, you know the motivation if it's a guy that slips something in a girl's drink, obviously trying to get them tipsy and, like, do something sexual to them, bring them back to their place, like
Right.
like, the intention there is obvious, but, like, for you, is it just, like, some guy
It
dropping a
could
Xanax in a
be,
drink and just sitting back and being like, "Let me just watch this dude get more belligerently blacked out, and this is my like, it's his entertainment for the night." Like, he's just sitting back being like, "Check this dude out. I just dropped 2 bars in this guy's drink."
right, yeah, it could be something like that. It could be, somebody dude, I mean, there could have been a gay dude trying to rape me or something. Who
Could've.
knows, man? I mean,
Or
it's Austin, Texas.
he was looking for the opportunity to rob you and just didn't
Or
happen. Like,
yeah,
he's waiting for you to leave, but you were with your friends or something. He's like, "Ah, no, it's not gonna happen tonight."
yeah, something like that. Like I said, there's not really any way to know that, but it's yeah, dude. I feel like a broken record, but yeah, there's some sort of malevolent entertainment value to that. Whatever the end game is, it's something that I mean, most of those deaths, those people they weren't heavy drinkers. Like one of the guys, I think it might have been Jason John. That dude didn't even know how to swim. He hated water. He didn't want to ever be around water, and then he winds up in water. That doesn't even make sense. They're all very suspicious, but I don't think anybody can really draw any solid conclusions still. Um, Gannon was looking into it, and we checked out the spot where a guy found a dead body, and we posted that. I got that video up on the channel. It's there was some graffiti around the body, 666, a weird upside down cross that almost looked like a female symbol. A lot of people were saying they thought it might be a gay guy that was closeted, that was going after dudes, or a woman that was, bitter about a man or something. That's all speculation. We can speculate all day. It's healthy speculation is good, but there's my one buddy said that he thought that they might be trying to say there was a serial killer on Rainy Street because they wanted to bring down the value of the property over there because there were some holdouts that didn't sell out to these big real estate developers. I mean, that's a full-blown conspiracy. Again, no real evidence there, but it's again speculation. But it was a really weird sort of month or so there where everything I was doing was tied into this alleged serial killer, and
Yeah.
it didn't never really came to fruition. I mean, we didn't catch a serial killer. Weirdly enough, some guy came out and admitted to having killed some people that were totally unrelated to any of that, and there was a serial killer. It
Yeah.
was a totally different guy.
Different body of water.
That's I mean, no, these people weren't even being found in water. This guy was killing people in a different way.
Oh,
And it was in
jeez.
Austin. It was like stranger than fiction Twilight Zone shit where this guy was like, "Oh yeah, I'm not that serial killer, but I'm a different serial killer."
Dude,
You know what I mean?
I'm just trying to imagine the commercial real estate agent that's, he's pissed off because he's trying to buy these properties on Rainy Street that, the owners aren't selling, and he's talking to other people in his office, and they're like, "What are you gonna do? Like, look into the zoning regulations?" And he's like, "No, I think I'm gonna put Xanax in people's drinks and then drag him into the lake to try to bring down the property value." And
Yeah,
his
he's
his coworkers are like, "Good one, Kevin," and he's just going out at night, just fucking killing people.
gloves covered in dirt.
Yeah, look, if he was selling my
I mean,
house, I would want him because he's definitely gonna get a good price for my house. But it's there's
yeah,
only
my
so many
house is
people.
listed. Yeah, my house is listed right now. Fucking hit me up, dude.
He'll do
Um,
whatever he has to do to make the sale. That's for sure.
Job done. But no, I don't think it was anything like that. Like I said, it kind of hit the national spotlight because we were talking about it on the radio show, just asking questions. I mean, that's what that show is. It's AM talk radio. So we talk about shit that's on our minds, and we weren't saying that there was or wasn't a serial killer, but we were just bringing to light some rumors that had been circulating in Austin for years. I mean, people had been saying that there was a serial killer in Austin in the bar scene for fucking 5 years. And some people even say that it goes back further than that, but I had never heard anything like that going back further than that. I had heard through the grapevine before people say there's a serial killer on Rainey or on 6th Street, and I never really bought into it until there was a series of deaths that escalated really fast that were all found in Lady Bird very very recently, and that's why we decided to look into it. But again, nothing conclusive. Uh, Given that I'm a journalist, I want to make sure that anything that I do say that is I'm positive about, that I need to make sure I have my facts straight.
Yeah.
So there's no real answer to that question, but it was just a really bizarre thing. And then everybody's trying to tie all these different things together, and the only person I think that could really be an authority on that would be Kevin Gannon. And he said again, he was like, I need to see autopsies and stuff. So he, like, as a detective, he's got the same MO that I do as a journalist. You got to make sure you have your ducks in a row before you make any claims. But the stories that he was telling about up in Chicago and in New York and in those areas, you can look all that stuff up. He was in a documentary on like Oxygen or A&E or something, and he details all that. And there's definitely some other stuff on YouTube that more in depth talks about it. But my forte is just interviewing people and sort of getting like expert opinions on stuff. So I didn't do a super super deep dive into the autopsies, but there were definitely some suspicious deaths all
Yeah.
in the same area with looked the same.
There's a clip of Kevin Gannon 5 years ago on Dr. Phil where he's talking about the smiley face killers, and I think that's the documentary that you're talking about. I haven't seen the
Yeah.
documentary, but I saw his interview on Dr. Phil where he talks about uh, how he thinks, and again, like it's a theory, it's not something that's concrete evidence, but how he thinks that there are hundreds of murders in different cities around the country that could be connected to essentially a network of serial killers
Like
that are,
yeah.
very similar uh, autopsies, similar signs at the scene with certain types of graffiti, MOs, stuff like that. But yeah, that was wild when I was listening to that. What was the connection to the smiley face killers when you were talking to Kevin Gannon? Because I remember him talking about that a little bit, like possibly having a connection with the graffiti.
The satanic graffiti, I think, was the MO for the smiley face killers, which is different than the happy face killer. Not to get the two conflated, but there was the idea was that it was a satanic cult that was killing people because like some sort of member initiation. It was almost like a gang of Satanists, I believe, like occult stuff. I don't know all the details of it. I just know that the only death in Austin that had satanic graffiti around it was the one that we found. That was the body wasn't even in the water, and the guy who found the body said that there was a suspicious person that was there, um, watching the scene as he called the police, and then once the police showed up, the guy left. So this guy that found that body could have potentially stumbled onto somebody being murdered in progress, which is totally insane. That interview can be found on the
Yeah.
channel. It's titled like interviewing man who found body or something like that. I don't
Yeah.
remember it's just a generic title because I didn't have a
I'll
lot of
I'll
info
put
at
it
the
in
time. But
the podcast notes. I'll link that with the channel so people can check it out.
yeah, so but yeah, nothing else really other than that. There's not been a lot come to. I mean, I just find it so hard to believe that there were that many deaths back to back to back. It just is so fucking bizarre. But at the same time,
It's like 4 in 2 months or something, like 4 bodies found in the lake in the last couple
yeah,
months, 4 or 6. Like,
yeah.
it's a lot. I mean,
Well,
it's a lot.
at one point, yeah, it was in like an 8 week period of time. It was 4 or 5 bodies, which is a lot. Yeah. What was a spike? It was an anomaly, a statistical anomaly, which is why people were freaking out about it. And the police just kept saying, "Oh, there's nothing going on. There's nothing going on." But at the same time, they were increasing patrols over at Rainey Street and at Lady Bird. So it was like you're kind of giving a mixed message here, but also at the same time, the police don't want to freak people out. So I kind of understand what they were doing, but they weren't being very transparent with the families of the people who died, and I think that was causing some friction and caused the families to speak out, and that's what blew up that Facebook group. And then there was people that were grifting off of the deaths, and there was a guy named Ken something that was promoting his app. I mean, it was the whole thing was
I can't imagine
bizarre.
some people are like listing family members who have been victims of the serial killers in a Facebook group, and some guys like, I just dropped this yoga app in the app store. Like it, if you guys wouldn't mind checking it out, it could be good for trauma. Releasing the traumatic
Yeah, well, the guy,
areas of your body.
this guy was a marketing director for this startup app, and the app itself had nothing to do with anything that was even related. I mean, it was fucking crazy. When I saw the guy making those posts, he was like on TikTok, and I thought, this dude is for sure doing this for clout and to make money. I mean, it was obvious to me. And then when it came out that he was like full of shit, people were surprised, and I thought, how, you guys didn't see this coming?
I mean, if he ends up being the killer, that would be the wildest marketing campaign of all time. He's like, how am I going to hype this product? How am I going to hype this app? I'm going to kill a bunch of people. People will start a group to try to find out who the killer is, and I'm going to market my app in the fucking group.
Yeah, we're gonna find out that guy ended up being a real estate agent or something.
Yeah.